Well, hundreds of Arkansans lost their homes in the tornadoes last week, which means many will be looking for another place to live. We're here with Power Woman Claire Brown, who's going to look at the impact that this has had on real estate. Claire, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Katrin. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, being in real estate for so long, that was one of my initial thoughts of, oh my goodness, how is this going to impact right now and the long term as well? And so, one of the largest impacts in real estate is that we're seeing is with insurance. And so with the increase in the market in the last 3 years, we've seen the value increasing in real estate up to 25%, except many homeowners have not increased their insurance. And the problem with that is that along with the increase in market value, say you have a $300,000 home 3 years ago, but now it's worth $375,000 according to the real estate market. So many of these homes that have been affected by the storm didn't increase their insurance to keep up with the real estate market value. And then they only had the coverage of what their original home was valued at or worth when they purchased, not the current value. And so unfortunately their insurance is only going to cover what it was originally worth. So hopefully they increased it, you know, if they purchased 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. But even if you look at it just the last 2 years of how homes have increased, it's very difficult.
Yeah, and I know, you know, of course, you mentioned value multiple times, and that seems to be so key, especially when disaster hits.
Yes.
But it's also, you know, we're looking at taxes and everything, so how does value impact that?
Absolutely. And so real estate taxes, you know, we always need to think about taxes. And if your property has been affected by the storm, then you need to contact your county real estate assessor's office as soon as possible to report your address and the damage, because the assessor will need to reassess the property to make sure that if there's something no longer standing, then you're not taxed for that. So they need to adjust your value, and then therefore your taxes. And
I know that, you know, when disaster hits, a lot of times it feels like there's not a lot we can do to prepare, but is there anything homeowners can do at least to try and plan ahead?
Obviously, you know, we feel that way. We feel so helpless. Yes, and definitely you can. You need to call your insurance agent. You definitely need to adjust your insurance coverage. You need to go according to the market and maybe make it an alarm that you do the first of every year, that's a call you make. And then the other thing is that and possibly think of installing a tornado shelter. FEMA is offering grant assistance with this, and so although that may not increase the value of your home, it definitely adds to your list of amenities and desirability. I know I've shown many homes with this in place, and people love it, especially if they're not from here. They walk in and they love seeing these tornado shelters. And you can go to our website and find a link to the FEMA website to where you can look at that grant assistance program and connect with that.
Great. So there are, of course, a lot of ways to look ahead, and I think especially with this recent disaster, I think a lot of info that we need to be keeping in mind, Claire.
Yes, definitely.
Well, thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you for having me always.
Of course.